Welcome, my friends. My name is Dr. Michael Harris. This is the Fruits of Virtue podcast. It's about helping you seek to live a good life, to be your best self, to seek for virtues, because I think when you do that, you feel good. So when you are a good person, you serve well, you feel great inside. Today, I want to introduce my friend Javier Hurtado. Hello, Javier. Javier and I became acquainted a couple of years ago. We had some skills with recording and helping me put together an online course, and I learned his story. And so I'm so glad to have you with me today here. And I'd like to ask you, Javier, how long have you been here and why did you come to the United States?
Well, thanks, Michael. First of all, I'm very excited about this opportunity, and thanks for consider myself to come and join your podcast. And I'm very thrilled to share some stories with you guys, and hopefully we can learn together and also learn from the past experiences. Well, I've been living here in the US for the last 9+ years, and I'm originally from Venezuela. I would like to mention it because it is a very hot topic right now, especially with all the new migrants coming through here in America. There is some good and sad stories behind that, but most of the Venezuelan are good people, but really bad people as well, as every single other country of having a country ruled by socialism and communism for the last 20+ years. And it's been a big struggle for the population. And I decided to leave the country almost 10 years ago. And me, my wife, and one daughter decided to move our family to the United States. It was tough at the beginning, but the thing is we found a home. And we were lucky to be surrounded for so many good people who extend their friendship, they support their love for us, and they get to know us, we get to know them, and now we're in love with every single aspect of living here because we found and we consider this a home already.
What did you have to do to adjust when you arrived here?
Learning English, number one. One of the biggest adjustments, I think, is mostly cultural. We came from a different environment. In our city, pretty much summer is hot and humid. When we came here, it was middle of September, so very close to the winter time, and it was rough, very, very tough. And I'm a tropical guy. There are so many adjustments, but we as a family, we were talking a lot about this. I mean, we were very committed to make it happen, to understand the way of living of our new friends here and try to adapt ourselves to contribute with the community, to the new friends, our new family, our new neighbors, and try to create a good impact to our society.
How did you financially make it in the early part?
In my case, was a little bit different. When we left Venezuela, we were looking to have some properties and stuff like that, with enough resources to survive for the very first month until we find a job or a way to produce, to bring food to the family. Especially myself, I'm married, I have a wife, and by that time I have just one daughter. But as a good father, I want to provide for my family, and I was doing the best to do it.
Haven't you also pursued and received your bachelor's degree since you've been here?
Yes.
So you had the ambition to get education, to do everything you needed to do to have a good life here in the United States.
Yeah, well, I'm 42 years old. When I got here, I got 2 careers already. One as a graphic designer. I also graduated as a marketing specialist. So when I got here, I doesn't have the opportunity at the beginning to work in those areas. I found myself working in a potato factory, then a meat factory, in a production line. But I was super happy to contribute until I have the opportunity to demonstrate to the people who were around me that I can do different jobs as well. And also I have some skills that help me to produce better for my family. I'm very grateful for the people who gave me the opportunity to demonstrate that I have some skills. I remember one opportunity when I was applying for a job inside a company that I was working already as a graphic designer. So he decided to give me opportunity, and he put in front of me a project, and he said, by the end of this day, I would like to you do this logo and this flyer and to put together some cool designs. At the end, he was very surprised about the result. I was a good graphic designer with skills. And after that, I received the opportunity to work in that field until this day. And after a time, they gave me the opportunity to represent the hospital in the marketing for the Hispanic population.
Fantastic. I've been obviously in the United States all my life. I noticed during COVID that our rights, our liberties, our freedoms began to be eroded. You've lived in a socialistic country. What happens to the average person? Do these things come on gradually? What do you do to prepare yourself so we don't let this happen to the United States?
That's a very interesting question. When I was born in Venezuela, I was living the good years. Most of the people maybe doesn't know, but our economy was very good. It was a very vibrant country with a lot of oil production. So I lived all my childhood and a good portion of my adult life on the good years of Venezuela. So then I had the opportunity to live in the other side too, in the same country. This change doesn't happen overnight. It is very gradient. It takes time to become whole country into what we know about Venezuela today. They try to commit the population and that this is the right path to follow. And they convince, starting with the base, is the blue collar people who is facing sometimes the challenges of the life. And they started sending people to talk to them in their job places, in their homes, and tell them, you are facing this problem. You don't have enough food to bring to the table. You deserve more than your employer. They create like an environment of the people wants like some social justice. In somehow, some way, it works in their mind because they say, well, yes, it makes sense. I'm poor because of my employer, for example, or I'm poor because of Michael, who have more money than me. And in some way, he is taking advantage of my work, and we should be equal.
A division.
Division is the key over there. So in one point, we have a very divided country, a division that it was so remarkable that people can fight each other just because they think different than the other person. They can fight in the street. They can invite you to, like, okay, let's fight right here, just because you think different. In one point, that division becomes into fear. In one point, many people are starting feeling scared to express an opinion, scared to be punished. So when they started controlling, for example, the media, and now the media is explaining, I mean, when you buy a paper or when you turn on the television, they can have a big protest and people killing each other outside, but you can turn on the television on the live news and they will play how to do banana bread, like a recipe. But behind that, there's people killing each other. So they create like a bubble and they are insulated about what's happening outside. It could be happening in your street, but in the other city next to you, they don't know nothing about it because the way to be informed is controlled by the government. You got a lot of change tied in you because you left them tied in somehow. People get tired of protesting, because tired of being persecuted. They're scared. Here in the US, like little things happening that concern us, and hopefully we can prepare to defend our freedom and express ourselves or awareing others about this situation, because freedom is not for free. We know that for sure, because we lost our country. What defines that country are their institutions. But if they control them and they corrupt the institutions, and the institutions are not there to defend people, but to defend themselves and secure their own interest, you don't have a country then.
Right. We see this happening in America, right? With the education, with business that seems to be less and less free. In my last podcast, I talked about freedom and there being two elements to freedom. One is to act or to be acted upon. And it
Mhm.
seems like if we don't stand up, we don't let our voices be heard, we don't vote, we don't get involved, we become part of the problem.
Yes, there's always good people who are willing to keep fighting for their freedom. They cannot take that from us. Like there is like a deterioration of that feeling because people is getting tired to keep fighting without results. In the Venezuelan case, I mean, we have dictatorships sitting in that power for 25 years already. Like legally, they control every single aspect of the society there. Education, the media, public services, control the education, listen, what you see, what you watch. They control every single aspect. And after 25 years, the people is trying to live a decent life and they starting like feeling sad and depressed and tired about fighting without a result. Just try to live a decent life the best that we can or to migrate the country.
But you said at some point they seized property, and you even talked about they had a desire to take your church.
Yeah, and the communists and socialists, they don't like private property unless it's they own it. If they see an opportunity to remove the private property from you, they will do it. In our case, they understand that we are no willing to deliver our properties. We are going to fight for it. They understand that and they are doing like step by step. They try to remove from us some of our church building. In some cities, they did it and they find some ways to do it. For example, in one of the cities next to us, because of some weather conditions, some heavy rains, having no house, they were trying to catch our buildings, these people to enter into our building with the excuse that we need to use the building as a shelter. And then after the rain passed and after several years, they still have their building with them. So it wasn't for the rain, it wasn't for an emergency purpose, it was because they want to take the property and they will find an excuse to do it. So if they can do this with a public building that is accessible for the whole community as a church, for example, they will do the same with a private property that belongs to any citizen. And they did it already. So many people are leaving the countries, left them behind their homes or empty. They're pushing a new law to say, if your house is empty and not use it, so we are going, by law, we are going to take it. They are going to use any single situation to justify their actions, especially when their actions are pointed to their own interest.
You told me that gasoline was almost nothing, like dirt cheap. And now today, is the standard of living suffered with socialism?
Yes, of course. There's not a secret that Venezuela was one of the top 5 countries producing oil. Besides that, we were refining oil to produce gas. It was very cheap for all of us. It was enough even to export to another countries. After socialists and communists started ruling the country, they ruined our main oil company. They stole all the money from that company, and that company stopped producing oil. Their production is not enough, not even to supply the internal necessity in the country. Even the government now needs to buy gasoline from other countries to supply ourselves. And now the price of gasoline is expensive and there's not enough still. So if you visit Venezuela today, you probably will do lines of vehicles try to supply your car with gasoline. Sometimes some of those lines are lasting for days. There's people who are pretty much living their life or spending 2-3 days in a line inside their cars just to get some gas. When I got here, gas wasn't a problem for us. You can travel whatever you want with $1. You can, in those years, you can supply your car like around 22 times full tank with $1. But today, you cannot do that.
What does the average American need to do to make a difference as it seems that our country is going more in a socialistic direction? What virtues do we need to draw upon in ourselves so that we can maintain our freedoms? So what happened to Venezuela doesn't happen to the United States.
First of all, we as an adult, we have a responsibility to teach our kids. Start teaching your kids the right way at home. Teach them the right values, that nothing is for free. You need to work. You need to put an extra effort if you want to achieve goals in your life. That the work is not a punishment, it's a blessing. We need to have a stronger and more united families. Down in Venezuela, so many families that are disrupted, not a good balance of good principles sometimes at home. And now, after 20 plus years, those principles are even worse. So we need to teach better. We need to do a better job teaching our kids the right and righteous way.
I like that. Talk to your kids throughout the day, but talk at the dinner table when you all come together, right? Talk about what you believe in, talk about what's on your mind, and talk about what freedom is and how important it is. I think you've offered some very, very good ideas. Anything else you would like to share?
Well, this is an election year. I think it's a great opportunity to express ourselves through an election. That's the most powerful tool that one citizen have on their hand, and we need to use that power. I'm very sad sometimes when I see election times, not only as a presidential, but like a governor or even a mayor or something like that, a representative. The people who is participating in these events are so little. And if you have the right to use a power like that, go and do it for the wellness of yourself, your family, and finally the whole community. That's a powerful tool, and we need to use it.
Thank you, Javier, so much for your story, because the story of Venezuela is a cautionary tale for the United States, I believe.
I just want to say, as a good Venezuelan, many of us are concerned about all the situation that some of those bad Venezuelans are doing. Unfortunately, sometimes the media is just remarking the bad news, right? But the majority of us are doing the best to contribute, to make a good impact in our communities, because this is what we are. Some of those bad guys, I noticed something similar. They're very young, in their 20s, which is interesting because it's matching the same time that the socialist and communist government is ruling the country. So those guys never had the opportunity to live or see something different. They are like a product of the socialist factory. And it's very sad. They come from broken families, but the good Venezuelans are here to face this situation and to express ourselves and saying out loud that we are here to defend the freedom, to contribute to our communities, to push the good principles, and also to express and give our best example to everyone. I think we can make a good impact anywhere we go, and we are excited about the opportunity to recover our country and to rebuild it again and to make it productive for the wellness of our future generation.
Thank you, Javier. I think this has been very, very good today. Encourage us to stand up and speak out and to vote and to make a difference and not let this happen to our country.
Correct. And thank Michael for the opportunity. I'm very, very happy to have it, and I'm always thrilled to talk about Venezuela. It is a place that I love with all my heart. In the US, which is my second home, I feel the same feeling. I love this place, and we are committed to keep building the good stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you, Javier, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. I will see you around, okay? Bye.